Welcome to the Mother's Justice Show with substitute host Eddie Rye Jr. sitting in for Reverend Harriett Walden. And we've got a lot of things happening in the community in terms of police. Matter of fact, I got a notice from Reverend Walden's son, Chikundi Salisbury, who's everywhere. He didn't get selected for the city council, but keep your eye on that fella because he's definitely a politician and he's been serving the community for a long time. Look for Chikundi Salisbury to end up at some elective office. I tell you right now, he's definitely a person I would support. He puts his heart in it. He's doing fantastic things right now in terms of Black home ownership. And matter of fact, Bliss Place's meeting yesterday because of the 80th birthday for Frank P. Barrow. In the early days at KYC, he was known as the Platter Playboy. That was because we were spinning records in those days, didn't have all this technology. But Lim Howell attended that event. I'm going to talk to Lim about several things. But Lim, just talk little bit about Frank P. Barrow, the Platter Playboy. You were there and also spoke at his 80th birthday party at the Royal Esquire Club yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, I was there, Eddie, and I was glad that they honored him because he's been a blessing to the Black community. And at KRIZ and before that at KYAC, he used to be more than just an announcer or a broadcaster. He was also a technician behind the scenes, doing everything that a radio station that normally a whole entourage of people do. He was doing it all by himself.
So you saying that Frank should get 4 or 5 checks?
That's exactly right. I hope Chris pays him accordingly because he was doing the job of 4 people.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, you will be hearing from C.H. Bennett after the program. But Lim, we're in some difficult times, and I guess we have to really look closely at why the Democratic Party wasn't able to attract all the non-participants. People in the millions, tens of millions, didn't vote. Do you have an exact number on that? This last presidential election, they said 60 or 70 million people didn't vote. And then the people that did vote, were you surprised to see so many of our so-called people of color vote for Trump? Just give me your perspective on that.
Well, there were several things involved in the last election, Eddie, and we forget what a role inflation played. Because I do grocery shopping with my wife and I see grocery prices. It was no 5 or 10 or 15, it was 25, 40% increase in basic stuff that people need. And people vote their pocketbooks. You remember during the Clinton campaign, it's the economy, stupid. That played a role for some people who found it hard to make ends meet with housing and food. But apart from that, there was racism in the campaign. You know how that was demonstrated? You remember when the husband of the senator from Nebraska, the woman senator from Nebraska, refused to shake the hands of the vice president? That was telling and demonstrative of the fact that racism is alive and well in the country.
Well, people are saying that white female voters voted against Hillary Clinton as well. And I don't know, I think the percentage is a little higher against Kamala Harris, but the problem is that we've been knowing about this economy and the high prices on everything. And we know the big guys control the products themselves. Don't you think that the Biden administration had enough warning to take some action to help alleviate the economic pain everyday American citizens was experiencing?
Well, I think that President Biden ought to have gotten out to announce that he was a one-term transitional president and should have made it open up to people. A lot of people didn't like the idea that there was no choice for the selection for presidential candidate Democratic Party. Although I think that Kamala Harris did a magnificent job as our candidate. I thought she traveled everywhere and did the right things. And I just think she ran a great campaign. There's one other thing, Eddie, and that was the border. Every country should be able to control its own borders. And people were coming across that border from all over the world, not just South or Central America. And I think people resented the fact that people could just walk into the country, even if it meant Biden sending troops to the border. I think that was a major factor in them in the election for some people. But we know this was coming. This is a counter-revolution. After Barack Obama was elected president in 2008, the beginning of the Tea Party, and then birtherism, where that fool kept saying that Obama wasn't born in this country and so forth. And that was the beginning. And even though they were presented with a long form birth certificate of him, he kept saying that nonsense. And a lot of people didn't really believe it, but said they believed it. So that this MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, goes back to pre-1955, when the Civil Rights Movement came into being. When we got Brown versus Board of Education in 1954, and then, Truman desegregated the armed forces in 48 and so forth, and that was the beginning, really, of the Civil Rights Movement in this country, and the various cases that Thurgood Marshall brought for higher education, and then finally Brown versus Board of Education. Things were changing. And of course, we got the 1957 Civil Rights Act. We don't give enough credit to LBJ. Yes. LBJ was the majority leader in the Senate when we got the 1957 Civil Rights Act. And that was designed to protect minorities. It was designed to prevent discrimination. And LBJ got that passed. And don't forget, he was a Southerner. He was from the state of Texas.
And that was from Arkansas. So we've had some pretty good Southerners in the White House. Has done probably more good for us than a lot of others. But Lim, I want to go with you mentioning what was going on, like during World War II. 1.2 million African Americans who fought and some died in World War II came back to segregation and no veterans benefits. 1.2 million. And I put up on my Facebook page some pictures of the 183rd, 761st Tank Battalion, the Tuskegee Airmen, and also and one other group is called the Real Black Panthers. And these folks liberated Jews from concentration camps. Yet, it's not being acknowledged, and we certainly aren't being treated fairly, because one of the leading people that's trying to advocate and shape policy against African Americans is Stephen Miller in the Trump administration, who is Jewish. And so I put on my Facebook page, does this look like DEI to you? Because we DIE'd for this country. Matter of fact, you know, the first person to die in the Revolutionary War was Christopher Adams, a black man. So, to still try to keep black people out, 246 years of slavery, all the slaves were black, and no other group has ever given America what African descendants of the United States enslaved gave America. And that's all that free labor, dying in every war. And then you get to like Black Wall Street. One black guy is accused of erroneous accusation, and they burned down the whole damn neighborhood, all the churches, the movie theater, the hotel they had, the airplanes they had. And the thing is, they were doing so much better than their white counterparts. We see the same thing happening in Florida over and over again, and they always took the land. They don't want to talk now that on a Sunday after church, you got a picnic basket to hang 3 or 4 black people, then cut off their fingers and their toes for souvenirs. Take your kids, that's a form of entertainment. But they don't want to pay for that. And you look at right now, college basketball, 8 to 10 black players on the floor, you can't find 5 black students in the student section. Same thing with football. They're finally paying these young men some money, but 8 to 11 blacks on the field on both sides of the ball, and not 8 black students in the student section. And so, we really need to have our high school athletes and professional athletes speaking up a lot more, especially for black folks, because we are the ones that's making the money for these corporations. Okay, they can say whatever they want to, but young black men bring billions of dollars to these colleges and universities, and prestige and sponsorship. So there's some things we were talking about. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with Spencer Hayward and Lenny Wilkins. 200 to 300 million Chinese watch the NBA every week in China. Everything I got recently was made in China. I suggested getting the NBA players, including some legends, and a plane load of black business people, and going to China and see if we can get some relationships. You're going to take affirmative action, we have to create our own action, even though we done paid the severe price for 400 years in this country and still not getting what we deserve. And the same thing with Emirates. You look at some of the basketball games, Emirates is right on the floor. So we have some options, and we got to have foresight. Yeah, we need to fight for what we earned right here, but we also need to expand our horizon and go and try to develop some opportunities somewhere else. So just wanted to have you comment on that, Limau.
Well, you've said a mouthful, young man. I'll just one thing we have to emphasize, because this matters in the future. Stephen Miller was Hitler's Himmler. This is an evil, evil man. He was the architect of separating children from their parents at the border. He's terrible. He was involved with the writing, and his people were involved with the writing of Project
2025. Yeah.
And I wanted to speak more about him because they're going to castrate the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, which was meant to provide against discrimination and to enforce the rights of minorities.
Okay, Lim, let me say one thing. We want you to hold on. Hayward is on right now, but I want to say Merrick Garland was the worst attorney general for black folks ever. We filed a federal complaint with him November 23rd, 2021. He and Kristen Clark said, we're going to send it over to Pete Buttigieg. 3 years, we had letters from Congressman Adam Smith, Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, Senator Patty Murray, Congressman Benny Thompson in support of our investigation. They didn't do a damn thing about it. So I cannot give any accolades. As far as I'm concerned, Merrick Garland was the absolute worst attorney general in the world for black folks.
Not just black folks, for the whole city, the whole country.
If he would have put the reins on Jack Smith.
He did not start an investigation of Trump till 2 years later, after a referral from the January 6th committee. He was an atrocious attorney general. He was derelict in his duties to the country. He should have started that procedure 2 years earlier, and maybe this bastard wouldn't be sitting in the White House now.
All right. Well, hold on, Lim. We're going to go to Hayward right quick. Hayward Evans is co-convener of the Seattle-King County Martin Luther King Commemoration Continuation Committee. And every year I'm co-convener along with Hayward. We're going to be having an event during Black History Month. Hayward has some information. We had a tragedy happen at Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Civil Rights Park. Every year, the MLK CC would light up the park for Black History Month. Hayward Evans, tell us what happened this year.
Thank you for having me, Eddie. And Lim, if you recall, you were the first speaker during lighting the park for Martin Luther King Park for Black History Month.
Right.
You were the first speaker in the park. You and Carl Smith. I mean, and the Brotherhood Choir from Mount Zion did the singing at the first event that we had there in the park. But this year, the Commemoration Committee, Eddie and I, we had a team go out there that were installing the lights, right? Every outlet, 30 of them have been vandalized. Literally, the plugs have been taken. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers put up metal cables going up into the trees with outlets. Well, all of that was stolen. So this year, and to our community, you know, our heart's there because we believe, again, Martin Luther King Jr. Civil Rights Memorial Park should be lit at least during Black History Month. And we were there to light the park, but again, we won't do it this year. The committee talked about making sure that we were in the paper. So we're looking at having you in the paper, Lynn, going all the way back to when this thing was initiated and just share pictures with the community and a little verbiage about what's going on now and why we're not doing it. We still will have our award ceremony. Date has to be determined. We're still going to have an award ceremony, but it looks like we're not going to make it this year to put the lights up in the park.
How much was it cost?
$1,000.
How much does it cost to have the gear replaced to have the park lit up in honor of Black History Month?
We were spending about $8,000. But this time, again, we're not spending it because we can't do it, but we still had to.
How much would it cost to have the new everything installed again and have the light lit up?
Yeah, we're going to hear from the City of Seattle on Monday. Andy Shepard with the City of Seattle Parks Department. Him and the electrical crew was supposed to be out there Friday. I haven't gotten a report from them the exact amount or how it could be set up that it would be secure. Literally, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers put boxes around all the outlets. Every box was broken. Every box.
Well, we gotta try to figure out a way how we can raise the money because we have our sponsors, Urban League Metropolitan Seattle. It is a 501c3. All contributions are tax deductible. My phone number is 206-786-2763. Hayward's phone number is 206-778-6357. So we would certainly appreciate any contribution you could make. We definitely can't let Black History Month down. We really got to have it more than ever now, seeing what the political situation is in this country. We definitely got to rise up and make sure that the lights shine bright on Martin Luther King Month in Martin Luther King Jr. County. I mean, Black History Month in Martin Luther King Jr. County.
And considering the attacks, just like you were pointing out on diversity, equality, or equity and inclusion, we're seriously being under attack. And that whole playbook 2025, they're trying to initiate. They're right out of the playbook. And the current president, because I can't stand him, you know that, Lynn, the current president is backing it. And we have to do something about it. We have to rise up ourselves to overcome these challenges.
Thank you very much, Hayward Evans. I tell you what, both of you guys hold on for a minute. Because Lem Howell, the Black Firefighters, is going to be on. So you hold on. Hey, we're going to take this quick break, Eric, okay?
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
All right, Eddie Rye back hosting the Mother's Justice Show for Reverend Harriett Walden. And we've been talking with Lem Howell and Hayward Evans. Lem Howell was the attorney for Claude Harris, that they went all the way to Supreme Court and won a case of selective certification. So we're going to have, first of all, I want to say, Hayward, do you have any closing comments? We're going to go to the Black Firefighters.
Yeah, no, because Hayward mentioned something about 16 general. I think he means inspector generals of the various agencies.
It's the inspector generals, yes.
All right,
correct.
Okay.
Now that's crucial. We can't skip over it, Eddie.
I know.
Because he has to notify Congress 30 days in advance of his intent to fire even one. And he didn't do that. He just fired them. And the question is, he can't get away with that because he has to notify Congress. The inspector generals make sure that the agencies follow the law and that there's no discrimination and that they are operating within the law. And anybody...
They were all black.
Really?
All
I did not. I knew one was black, but I didn't know that all the.
Mm.
Well, that's serious. That's very serious.
Oh,
I
well,
think we need lawsuits. We need lawsuits by the NAACP, Legal Defense and Education Fund, and the ACLU. And I'm really proud of Nick Brown bringing that lawsuit against the birthright actions by Trump,
yeah,
saying
well,
the Constitution didn't mean what it said.
He
That
even
people
pardoned
don't-
the two
Nick
black
Brown was
DC
at,
officers that killed the two white DC officers that killed that black person on a bike because they said he was an immigrant.
But he wasn't.
okay. We're gonna switch gears. Roberto Jourdan, a past president of the Seattle Black Firefighters Association, one of the people that's invested into the property that has been sold, they say illegally. The hearing will be on Friday, the 31st, at 1:00, and Judge Josephine Wiggs, Superior Court Judge Josephine Wiggs Court, out at the Kent Regional Justice Center. I think it's on the 3rd floor. So anyway, Roberto, while we wait for Yohannes and your fellow firefighter Clarence Williams, why don't you go ahead and give our listeners an update? I did post it on Y King's flyer. I posted that on my Facebook page to let people know about the hearing. So why don't you go right ahead, sir?
Okay, glad to be here. Hello, Lem? What's going on,
I'm
Hayward?
here, Roberto.
Yes, sir.
By the way, that's a hero for the Washington Huskies you're talking to.
Good seeing you, Bird.
That's what you call a good memory right there. That's a good memory.
No, you are a legend.
So anyway, what happened was that there was a delay in her decision because I guess there was some information that she hadn't gone through. Otherwise, we would have had this decision from her a little earlier. So the decision is going to come out, like Eddie said, on the 31st at 1:00 at the Justice Center. And I think the most important thing to know about the whole deal is that the reason why we're fighting so hard for this is that we went through, bought and paid for a house so that it would be there in perpetuity for Black firefighters and the community to be able to use this house unencumbered by any sort of debt or anything else like that. Free and clear. All we need to do is make sure that we pay for the water bill, the gas bill, electric bill, and that the taxes were done and that the house was there right in the heart of the central area, right? So people that want to come there, talk to us about becoming firefighters, about their kids becoming firefighters, about them becoming firefighters. We were teaching EMT classes in there. There was Sunday school classes from Mount Calgary Christian Center that was there. We had extra rooms in there where the Black law enforcement officers had an office. Black transit workers had an office in there. There was a whole lot that we did in there. And for 4 people that probably didn't have anything invested to take and sell the house because they were executive board of the Black firefighters, and then not let the rest of the body know that they were going to sell the house was just totally ridiculous. And that's the reason why we were suing in the first place. And let's say you don't want to take care of the house. So then what you do is you come to retire and say, we can't take care of this. We're busy or whatever else like that. And then we would have done that. We gave them an MOU, which offered to pay for half of anything that was there, taxes or whatever bills there were, the upkeep of the house, offered that. And that offer wasn't even made aware. The rest of the body wasn't even aware of the offer that we had for that. We don't know what the reason is that they're trying to do this, whether they're trying to get rid of the organization at all. And that's what it seems like it is. Since they sold the house, our lawyers gone through to try to figure out what's happened with the money, since we are a 501c7, and that hasn't come to any fruition. We haven't heard anything about that. Now we got somebody that's bought the place that is a house flipper, and so essentially that's what she wants to do: flip the house for profit. When we were having a press conference up there, of course, she yelled into the mic and into the cameras that's where she was going to live. And so everybody knows that was not true. No way in the world was that true. So Clarence is here now.
Go ahead.
I let Clarence do his thing. I kind of warmed it up for him. So Clarence Williams, do your thing, brother.
Another past president of the Seattle Black Firefighters Association, Clarence Williams.
He's a past president of the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters.
And the president of the Northwest Regional Black Firefighters?
Retired, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Right on. Go ahead, CW.
So what area do you want me to address?
Anything that relates to the House and the judge's decision coming up on Friday at 3:30?
Yeah. We feel that
at 3 o'clock. Let me take that back.
3 o'clock.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We feel like we're in the right position, that the judge ruling had indicated that all members of the Seattle Black Firefighters were eligible to vote, and that retired firefighters were also members, whether they had paid dues or not. That was her exact ruling. A few members of the executive board of the Seattle Black Firefighters decided that they wanted to go ahead and sell the property in lieu of what the judge had already ruled. We think that that's contemptuous and it should be ruled that way. And we are looking for some regress in terms of having the sale reversed and having our
membership.
Having our membership restored. As a matter of fact, we wanted to pay dues. We tried to pay dues. We wanted to do what the bylaws had indicated, that we pay 50% of what the active members pay. When they refused to accept our dues, we went directly to their bank account and made a deposit in the bank account. They disregarded that as being payment for dues and told us that we did it again, it would be considered a donation to the organization. So they told us the only way we could pay, we had to do registered mail sent to a specific address. So we decided to do that, and we wrote checks for a couple $1,000s and sent it registered mail. They refused to accept the registered mail, therefore acknowledging that we were paying our dues and had attempted to do so. So based on that, they say we were not members in good standing, and therefore we were not allowed to even vote. We didn't know the vote was taking place until the House had actually gone up for sale. So we think they did several things. And one of the most interesting things, we saw a copy of the agreement when they sold to the real estate company after two title companies had refused to honor their wishes. They went to a third company, and then there was papers signed indicating that there was no legal pending legal
litigation
options pending. And that was certainly fraudulent for them to say that, knowing full well that they had an appeal process going, and so did we. And so all of that is now in the judge's hand. She can look and see the paper trail with all of those things that has taken place. And based on that, I can't see how she could rule against us, but this is court of law, so you have to just wait and see what happens.
And that will be happening at 3 o'clock on Friday, Judge Josephine Wiggs' court. But now we've been joined by
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
One?
No. It's 3 o'clock.
Oh, it's going to go 3.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let me write that down correctly before I tell people the wrong time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So anyway, I put the matter of fact, Roberto, I think you sent me this flyer. Yeah, it says 3 o'clock on the flyer.
Okay. All right.
So I have that. But anyway, Johannes Sium, who also worked with Lem Howell, a tenacious attorney, is your representative. So we'd like to hear from you on the merits of your case, and what are you looking forward to on Friday, January 31st?
Yeah, first, I wasn't expecting the legend, my mentor, Lem Howell, to be on the video. So that's good to see that he's here to support us. Yeah, as Mr. Al can tell you, like you can never really predict what a judge is going to do. But what I'm expecting is the same thing as Clarence, is that she reads all the files and she sees that they clearly violated her judgment. She holds them in contempt, and then we get the process going as to rescind this deal, to rescind the sale, put it back into the hands of the rightful owners, which is the Seattle Black Firefighters Association.
And this ruling will be, do you think the ruling will come down on Friday? That is your prediction?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, as you were at the courtroom on January 8th, when the judge said she would issue an oral ruling on January, was it 17th? And
Yeah.
that day, she decided to kick the oral ruling out to January 31st, to kick it out 2 weeks. And it was because she didn't more time to read the files submitted by the defendants, submitted by the other side, some supplemental documents, which were lengthy. You know, at least we got the first insight into what they say they did, or some documentation to support their bold-faced assertions. So I believe that's enough time for the judge to read everything and to issue a thorough ruling.
And Roberto and Clarence, either one of you, what are we doing to get people to the courtroom so they can show that you guys do have support from the community?
A couple things. One, we have a little flyer that's made out, and we're sending it out to all of our members to start with, and to the community at large. We want to have a great showing, as we did the first time, and let the judge see and understand that the community is certainly supporting retired Black firefighters' position. And I thought it was very timely on the behalf of our attorney that he mentions that in his argument, that the community was there and so was the press, to see that justice is done. And that's what we want to continue to do. And we'll be holding a press conference afterwards for those media people who may be in attendance to get statements from us regarding our apparent victory that we hope to be celebrating at this time.
Yohannes, you or Lim have any comment? Lim said Yohannes.
Len is in a listening mode.
So you want to hear some more from your understudy, Yohannes Sium? Yohannes, he's waiting on you.
Yeah, okay, he does. I think the connection broke up. Yeah, I think like we've been saying, like, we are on the right side of the law. We have been telling the truth, have been filing everything we need to file, and we have righteousness on our side. So justice will eventually be served, even if it's slower than we'd like. And we have faith that that block will be developed in the name of the Seattle Black Firefighters, that not only will this house be put back in our hands and made some type of memorial or landmark, but also the second part of the lot, because it's the double lot, will be developed. And we have construction plans, architectural plans, and it'll be developed to meet the purpose of the Seattle Black Firefighters Association, to allow recruits to sleep there, to allow all the different activities that the association has done for the community to occur in perpetuity.
Oh,
Go ahead,
so
Clarence.
Yohannes, the Black firefighters plan to tear down the building there and build a new building?
No, it's a double lot. So there's that current house can stay there, and then the lot adjacent to it that they also own can be developed.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh, I
Representative Santos said it could be designated as a historical landmark and would qualify for funding. So that's the other thing, not only from the state, but also from other philanthropic organizations, because of the uniqueness. Like, Claude Harris was the first one, and he had to catch the bus to the first fire. And then the cold-blooded part, they said, we want you to go on the 14th and Pike or Pine. There was a house fire, 3 people in there. They found the remains of 2 other people, told Claude, when you get off the bus, go in the house and find the remains of the 3rd person. That was his first assignment with the Seattle Fire Department.
Eddie, may I ask about the voting membership for the retired firefighters? Are they going to be able to vote? What happened to the money? I'm just sort of.
Those are two good questions, and certainly we hope the judge would be unambiguous about that we certainly should have the right to vote. And if we were to have the right to vote, we know that this would not have taken place. The money is the big question, and Yohannes has asked that in many of his depositions and in his reports. What happens to the money? The Attorney General's office may have more to say about that, since this is a nonprofit organization, and how the vote went down and what happens to the funds get to be a very important question that need to be asked, because we think that is the one thing that's driving this wholesale business is the money and what they're doing with it. And we have no idea as to what's going on with that.
I saw Nick Brown at the Consul General of India, Prakash Gupta, had their 76th Republic Day. And Nick Brown, along with the governor, Mayor Bruce Harrell, 4 members of the congressional delegation were all there. And they're having a business forum today at 4 o'clock at Bell Harbor. The event last night was at Bell Harbor as well. So we're working closely with them. But I wanted to ask Clarence and Roberto, we have a serious situation. Hayward went over it. Lim heard he was on the line, but every year the Martin Luther King, called MLKCC, the Martin Luther King Commemoration and Continuation Committee, do Black History Month, and we lights the trees up in the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Civil Rights Park. So this year, what happened, Hayward?
This year, we had our lighting company out there to begin installation, and every outlet in the park, literally every outlet, has been destroyed. So every outlet, and these outlets were secured by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. 2 years ago, they redesigned it for the committee. They put connections, metal connections up into the trees with outlets. It's all stolen, destroyed. So this year we have to pay a company who couldn't install them. And we're going to
raise some money to make sure we don't let Martin Luther King Memorial Park and our Black community down. So we're going to be trying to raise money to pay for that. Hayward, do you have a price on what it will cost to replace all that stuff?
I will have one on Monday. I'm waiting to hear from Alan Shepard with the Seattle Parks and Recreation. He sent his crew out on Friday. We'll know tomorrow.
Okay, great. Okay, so we want you guys to be aware of that, because we are coming up to that event that we have, and we get a date trying to find a national labor speaker. But I think we got the top labor person in the state already, and that's Miss April Sims, who is the president of Washington State AFL-CIO. So now, Yohannes, what can people do to support you in this effort?
Yeah, there are a number of things. Besides coming to the hearing this Friday, folks can definitely contact the politicians you mentioned earlier, which would be the Attorney General, Nick Brown, and in particular his charity division of charities, because we don't know where the money is gone, and it could disappear by the time the judge rules the way she needs to rule. So that should be of the utmost public interest. So contact the Attorney General. The community has been so supportive, and so have Bruce Harrell and some of the politicians, but continue to contact City Council and the Mayor's office. Tell them that you want this corner developed by the Seattle Black Firefighters. And we've been in discussions with EDI, folks who know this, the Equity, Diversity Initiative, and as early as last Friday. And there are plenty of funds to develop this corner. So that would be first and foremost, to just let them know that this is important to the public. We also would appreciate any donations for the legal fund. I mean, this has been a 3-year process of litigation. It's cases on appeal. And I know that the Clarence and Roberto and some of my other clients have put up a GoFundMe site. So that would be another way to support. And yeah, just raise awareness, share the flyer online. We have a hashtag there, I think, that's on the flyer. So that would be the main ways. Again, I just want to thank the community for so much outpouring of support. It's really a few bad apples that did this, and the community is behind us. And we just have to keep up the momentum and energy.
Was there a mortgage issue? Was the property sold?
Yes.
There was a
Yes.
mortgage issue?
Yes. So
Okay.
part of it's a little complicated, but we filed 3 different motions. One is for contempt, one is to enforce a judgment, and one is to add the finance company that financed the sale and the buyer, to amend the complaint and add them. And so all of that was argued. All 3 motions were heard by the judge on January 8th. Courtroom was packed, and then the judge will issue a ruling on whether the buyer, the finance company, can be added to the lawsuit, and if the defendants are in contempt.
And I also have put up my donation, but I want to share with everybody else. If you have Cash App, you go to what was it? $NWARBFF. $NWARBFF. Okay, and you can go ahead and make a contribution right there as you listen to this program. Don't do it and drive at the same time, but pull over to the side and make that contribution, so we can make sure that these brothers that are so be able to stay into the fight, and Yohannes don't have to worry about going on food stamps or come out of pocket to fund this thing himself, because it is for our community. So we need to step up to the plate to make sure that this business is taken care of. Now, Lim Howell, I want you to just respond to one thing. You went all the way to U.S. Supreme Court with selective certification for the first African-American hired on the fire department and the first African-American Seattle Fire Chief, Claude Harris. Could you just walk through what happened and how you ended up with Supreme Court, and what kind of victory dance you do after you kicked their butt?
All right. To begin with, we had selective certification by the city of Seattle, where there are not very members who are officers in the fire department. The appointing authority could appoint those. What happened is 26 battalion chiefs or 26 captains passed the exam, and they were going to appoint 3 to battalion chiefs. Part of the examination was an oral interview, and Claude Harris felt that he was not given significant high grade in that oral interview. At any rate, 26 members of the department passed the exam. They picked the first 2, the top 2, and Claude was number 8 on the list. And then this appointing authority went down and picked him up and made him battalion chief. The others in between, 3, 4, and 5, sued to cancel his appointment. And fortunately, they got before a good judge, Earl Orswell. Donna Cloud of the Seattle City Attorney's Office represented the city, and Gary Gayton represented the Black Firefighters, which included Claude Harris and another lieutenant who was promoted to captain. They argued the case, and there was a trial between Horswell, and Horswell affirmed the appointment of Claude Harris. They appealed to the Supreme Court. Gary Gayton was handling that, and then he went back east to be special assistant to the Secretary of Transportation, Brock Adams. After that, Gary asked me to come in to handle the argument in the Washington State Supreme Court, which I did. And Judge Stafford, a judge that I had clerked for in the Supreme Court, had the case, and he affirmed the appointment. And we won in the Supreme Court of the state of Washington. They petitioned for certiorari to the U.S. Supreme Court. When you petition for certiorari in the Supreme Court, you have to write a brief to oppose the petition for certiorari. We opposed the petition for certiorari. And among other things, I said in the brief, the city of Seattle is trying to solve its racial problems, and this court ought not to intervene. So they agreed not to intervene and denied certiorari. So we prevailed in the Supreme Court. Claude Harris got to keep his appointment, as did a lieutenant who became a lieutenant or a captain. I don't remember which. It was called Marin versus the city of Seattle. So we prevailed. And we had a big bash in the community. Clarence Williams was then president of the Black Seattle Firefighters Association, and he later became president of the International Black Professional Firefighters Association. And they had a case in Cleveland similar to ours. And Clarence hired me to write an amicus brief for the International Black Professional Firefighters, which I did, and we prevailed in Cleveland. And Clarence, I want to thank you. You were one of the few paying clients I had back then.
I'm sorry, Lim.
But we prevailed in the Cleveland case too. And Clarence was a great leader in the old days. I was sorry to see him retire.
Well, he can't scale the ladders. They'd have him on top of a rooftop or something right now. That's what they. I don't know. The Harold Scoggins, the chief, wouldn't do that to him. So,
hey, Eddie, if I can just
go right ahead.
Add one thing. Lim Howell did an excellent job of representing us in both cases. And that's why this property is so sentimental to us. And Lim mentioned the fact that we were one of the few paying clients. What we did, we took a second mortgage out on this property to help pay off our legal bill, and we paid off our legal bill, and then we came back and paid off the second mortgage. So this house is it's more than just a house. It's something that we invested in, that we purchased, and we use it in many great ways. When people are sick and dying, we have waits where they come in and talk about it and meet with the guys. We have study programs when people are coming into the apartment, when folks are going up for promotions, again, study program, and just fellowship. Retired Black firefighters was having breakfast there every month until this deal came down. And so the house is more than just a house. It's a person.
It's an institution. Anyway, we got to take a quick 2 minute and a half break, but y'all hang on. Eric, we're going to take this last break, okay?
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
So won't you make them happy?
All right, Eddie Rye back at Mother's Justice Show with Hayward Evans, Lim Howell, Roberto Jourdan, Clarence Williams, and the attorney for the Seattle Black Firefighters Association, Johannes Sium. So the hearing is going to be, the judge postponed it for 2 weeks. Lim Howell, as a veteran counselor, what does it mean when a judge postpones something for 2 weeks? Does that mean that she's really getting into it on this occasion or what?
Well, I have no idea what the circumstances were and what the arguments were and what the other side said or anything, but it could be a number of reasons. Maybe there's new evidence that came in that she wants to consider. Maybe she's soliciting opinions from other judges. It could be any number of factors, Eddie, so it would be just mere speculation on my part as to why there may be a delay. But I'm glad that at least now that there's going to be a decision one way or the other. And so both sides will have an opportunity to appeal, which would mean that it would seem to me that the sale would be in limbo, depending on what she rules.
Okay. Well, I want to let
What's her
everybody
name? What's her name again?
know, Josephine Wiggs.
Wiggs
How do
Martin.
you,
Name is hyphenated. Wiggs Martin.
Okay, I didn't
how do
understand.
you spell it, Johannes?
I can text you. I'll text you the name.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. But I want to let everybody know that Chikunde Salisbury and the 100blackparents.org are sponsoring a Welcome to Seattle for new Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. That will be Friday, January 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you go to the court, you'll still have time to get there. It'll be held at the Mount Zion Church Fellowship Hall at 1634 19th Avenue, 1634 Reverend Samuel Berry McKinney Avenue. But anyway, it's a private event. RSVPs are required. Call 206-228-1176 or email events@100blackparents.org. So I want to make sure we go out and welcome Sean Barnes. He oversaw that case in somewhere in Wisconsin where a young shooter had killed some people, and he handled that very professionally. So he has been hired by the Seattle Police Department. I also heard that Mark Solomon has been selected to fill the vacant Seattle City Council position number 2. And apparently there will be elections coming up. But anyway, so before we close out, I want to see if Roberto Jourdan has any closing remarks.
Yeah, I'd like to say this. You know, the judge made her opinion and made a decision before, and that was that the retired black firefighters be reactivated as voting members. And what this person did, his name is Doug Johnson. What Doug Johnson did was decided that he's going to figure out a way for that not to happen. So he just defied her order, and he don't care. He didn't care what she said and how the decision came down. He just did everything that he could to keep that from not happening. So
Does anybody know who Doug Johnson is? Does anybody know who Doug Johnson is? I don't think I've seen his picture on social media or anything. I was just curious to know if anybody knows who he is.
Doug Johnson is the president of the current Black Firefighters Association. Hasn't been there that long in that position, but
Someone enough to sell the house.
Yes. Decided he wanted to sell a house, and so he and about 3 other people. That's what they did,
Okay.
without telling any other people.
Well,
Initially.
there was no notice to the black firefighters when he sold it.
No. Okay. Johannes will tell you.
Okay, hurry, because we got 1 minute.
Okay, let me briefly just correct a couple of things. First, I don't
Okay, I'll
represent
tell you, Johannes,
the
we have to hear from you on Thursday. We're out of time. So you can come back on Urban Forum Northwest on Thursday. But this has been an Eddie Ride with the Mother's Justice Show with Hayward Evans, Lem Howell, Roberto Jourdan, Clarence Williams, and your Attorney-Yohannes Sium. All right, so we'll talk to you on Thursday, y'all. See you then.